white-green human beatdown deck, which we haven't seen too much of this kind of deck, but it's a welcome sight. He has Gather the Townsfolk, Champion of the Parish, all the usual human suspects. Mayor of Averbrook, Avacyn's Pilgrim.
What I like about it is that it's still, once again, a trade binder deck. It's just an aggro version. So he has 1 Riders of Gavoni, 1 Sigarda, 1 Odric, 1 Sublime Archangel, 1 Angelic Overseer. I really just have this picture of someone like writing out their deck list and then be like, opening up his book, being like, okay, just starts pulling stuff out of the pages.
Yeah, it's like, man, I need things at the 4 and 5 slot.
I picked up one of these in draft last week. It was pretty good. Yep. You know.
That's great. And that's not to knock Chandler Pentecost or anyone playing these kind of decks. They're fun decks. But I know what you mean. I've definitely done that before I go to a tournament. Like, oh, I'm going to attend this tournament last minute. What should I play? Let's open the trade binder.
Yeah.
See what we got. See if we have any build around these. So these players are post sideboard right now. They're going to game 3. So in terms of what they have for sideboard options, I have to imagine we'll see Selesnya Charm from Chandler. We might even see these Nevermores. Kind of an interesting card, but if you can name something like Thragtusk or Restoration Angel, that's huge.
Thragtusk is one of the few ways that you can enter that this... Right, you may Nevermore a Thragtusk. Remember, Nevermore is a pretty narrow card, but actually in a deck where it has so... I mean, it's crushing very hard on Thragtusk. It really, its game plan is eventually revolves around Thragtusk. It might be an okay sideboard. I would still probably err side, like, I'm sure we'll see the Garruk Primal Hunter out of him. And I actually suspect that we would see the Angel of Glory's rise.
How about the Silklash Spiders?
There aren't any flyers. I'm not actually positive what that's against. There's no Entreat the Angels out of Jacob's deck. Okay, he has 3 Restoration Angels, but a 2 power guy for 5 really isn't what I want in this matchup.
So he'll lead on his best 1-drop, Champion, and he kept a 1-lander.
So it's a Champion swing. There's no second human for that, and that's. I mean, I think he had that start of Champion into Gather, but that's pretty dangerous, especially on the play.
Yep.
And that's gonna.
If you draw 2 non-lands in a row, the game's pretty much over. And
then he's gonna get hit by a knight. Wow, and you really see the game almost over on turn 2.
Yeah. There's a lot more playing to do here, but Chandler Pentecost is going to have a really hard time coming back.
He'll drop down to 18. So the danger of keeping 1-land hands is that you have to. So, and I'm not saying you can never do it, because I think a lot of times people will fall into these like never always traps. What you have to remember with that sort of thing is you have to kind of picture, all right, my odds. Think about the odds here. You have 1 draw to hit a land. Okay, so your deck is, I don't know. We'll say I will give you a healthy 40% to hit your land. All right, so 40% of the time I hit my land on the first turn. How good is that? I would say it's like good but not unbeatable here, because if you don't hit your other land, you're probably in trouble. But we'll give you I'll say you win 3/4 of those games. Now, what about the games where you don't hit your land right away? Like,
you lose 100% of those.
Well, okay. If it's the next land, are you still dead?
No, you're not still dead, but
you're pretty close.
If you miss 2 in a row, you're certainly
dead. So the question is, when you add all those up together, maybe missing 1 land, I win a third. Missing 2 lands, I'm missing it twice, I win 0. I think when you average those out, you're only at around a 30% to win this game, which is why you mulligan.
Yeah, and those are with pretty ambitious numbers too.
Sure. Yeah, and I was being as generous as possible with the numbers to prove a point.
Yeah. So the Rift comes down. Jacob Baugh with another removal spell in hand. It's not going to matter what Chandler does here. Detention Sphere is going to take out his next play regardless.
Yeah. The Mayor is actually in his hand, not in the graveyard.
He'll choke on all these 2-drops. And it looks like Chandler's going to decide on Pilgrim.
Avacyn's Pilgrim go. Yeah. So he's just under so much pressure, and that's a 3rd Detention Sphere from Jacob Baugh, I think. He'll just swing it. He'll offer the trade. It's Azorius Charm. That's really brutal. Pentecost drops down to 10, but won't be drawing another land this turn because he'll be drawing another Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Yeah, that's...
He just shows the 2 Detention Spheres, Chandler Pentecost.
It's like, get me off this camera.
Yeah.
I win.
Alright. So Jacob Baugh defeats Chandler Pentecost, 2 games to 1. Moves to a record of 2-1. A good hand for Chandler there, just didn't really, didn't pan out. It was, I would say, a risk. A calculated risk which did not pan out.
Definitely a risk, and it's tough too because you're playing against a deck with Azorius Charm. So if they put your first play on top of your library, that sets you back another turn, and that's tough.